So when it comes to the UK, we seem to have a bit of a migrant problem. Now I know you hear that line quite a lot. If anything, it's pretty easy to say. But when you look at this map on screen, I gotta tell you, it's we definitely do have a migrant problem. Because as you can see here, this is a list of countries with mandatory military service. Essentially conscription. But basically how it works on this chart here, if the country is in blue, then they've got mandatory military service. If they're in red, like for example Canada and the UK, then we don't have conscription. But it's just, I just can't get it out of my head that every Sudanese migrant that we get, chances are they've spent time in the military, you know? Same with Algeria, Angola, Mozambique, Brazil, anyone from Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Iran. You know, we got Turkmenistan Terry just coming into the country, and he served in the military. And, you know, there might be people on the left, you know, like maybe Greta Thunberg, for example. She might say, well, clown, why is that a big problem? I don't think Greta Thunberg's going to be reaching out anytime soon. But if she was to ask that question, you know, they've handled weapons. Things like understanding covert operations, how to sneak, how to trail people, you know, how to not leave evidence at the scene of a crime. These are all things which I'm sure are just going to be, for most of these countries at least, they're just going to be run-of-the-mill techniques. And it just confuses me, right? When people say, oh, you know, these people are all good. You know, Sudanese Steve, he's 10 out of 10. Well, I mean, the man knows how to handle explosives, you know? I don't think he's got my seal of approval at the moment. It's not even funny. They've got military training. And they're just like, yeah, do you want to be in a hotel next to a school? Yeah, 10 out of 10. Military training. What is going on? And if we scroll down here, actually, we can see the list of sort of additional details and caveats. So we got Algeria, right? So they got served 12 months for anyone between 19 and 30 years old. So, like I said, Algerian Alan, I guess, if he turns up, or the pair of them, if either of them turn up, they've at least served a year in the military. And it's going to give them some good skills, you know, maybe. But it's definitely going to give them some skills that they could use against us. Take Angola, for example. They got to serve 24 months, 2 years, between 20 and 45 years of age. Same with Morocco. 12 months for the males and females at age 19. You know, you meet, Moroccan Margaret? Think she's all good? She'd put you to sleep in 20 seconds. Not in a good way. Not in a good way. Same with Syria here. We got 18 months for males. So whenever a Syrian migrant turns up in the UK, they've had 18 months, a year and a half of military training. Everything from knots, to cleaning the weapons, to, like I said, handling things that go boom. No, I didn't mean themselves. I know they got a habit of doing that. They've got a habit of making that noise. Look at this, Chad. 36 months from age 20. 3 years in the military. That's enough to change someone. Then you send him onto the streets of the UK. I don't know, I don't think the government's thought this one through. But taking another look at the map here, you could argue that is pretty much the majority of countries. You know, they don't have India or China, or maybe, I don't know, half of China. So maybe it's not there on a population level. But in terms of dodgy countries, you know, Venezuela, Colombia, that's Mexico. Mexico's got conscription. Any Mexicans coming to the UK, I know that we don't get a lot, but they know how to handle weapons, like I said. It's not an ideal situation. As well as half of Africa. But if you enjoyed this daily clown, I'm going to say it with information. This is a map which I don't think we've ever seen before, as well as a perspective that, again, I just don't see many people talking about military conscription. And if you enjoy that level of value, at a very late in the evening video, I can assure you, you could probably tell it's some after hours. It's what, 10:59? Couple deep. Military conscription. Mogadishu Mike, Syrian Simon. I gotta tell you, sometimes... Now, I'll leave you here. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because I know what's coming up for tomorrow. I pre-made it. And trust me, you ain't gonna believe it.
This country has gone crazy.